She waters herself first. Watering yourself first is about reclaiming yourself. It's not about becoming selfish. So don't feel guilty because you choose to water yourself first. You have been taught to give, to show up, to make sacrifices, to be everything for everyone. But no one told you what it would cost you: your energy, your peace, your identity, and maybe even yourself. The moment you stop pouring into everyone else first, your whole life will change. Not overnight, not perfectly, but powerfully. You have to be intentional about your well being and to do the work if you want to see changes in your life. For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1 verses 7. Don't be afraid to water yourself first. And remember that you have the power to make a change in your life. Don't let shame and fear hold you back from taking that plunge. The plunge to start watering yourself first. The plunge to value yourself. The plunge to find out who you are and who God calls you to be. Don't get too caught up into other people's life and ignore your very own self. When you start watering yourself first, you will find your purpose and your calling. It is very hard to know who you are when your soul and spirit has been dried up and withered away. Once you start watering yourself, these things can manifest in your life because of the attentive care that you have been given to yourself. Welcome to Words of Encouragement with Kenya. Today I'll be talking about something that is simple but deeply uncomfortable for a lot of women. So, what happened when you decide to water yourself first? In simple terms, it means that you have prioritized your own self care, mental well being, and your personal growth, which leads to a complete transformational shift where you can bloom rather than just survive. Everyone wants to bloom and not just survive, and you too deserve it. So start watering yourself first so you too can bloom. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3 in verses 1. This is your season to water yourself first. You have a purpose and you were created for a reason. But you are the only one who can decide whether or not to fulfill that purpose. And if you decide to fulfill that walk in your calling, you have to spend a little more time watering yourself first so that you are equipped to do the work that you were called to do. Problem. Whenever you don't water yourself first, it does not just show up as being a little tired. It shows up in deeper ways. You start to feel emotionally drained, even when you have had rest. You give, but it never feels like enough. And you start to lose connection with who you are. All that is left of you are these roles: the helper, the supporter, the strong one. When you constantly put yourself last, you do not just lose your energy, you start losing yourself. The question is, how do you fix it? You need to find resources that will help replenish you. Start by getting enough rest and drink plenty of water to keep you hydrated. After those simple yet very impactful strategies, it's time for you to dive deeper. Try to figure out which environment and people leave you feeling empty. Set boundaries and don't be afraid to say no. Stop pleasing everyone. By doing these things, it will prevent you from running on empty or trying to pour from an empty cup. When you take the time to rest and recharge, you will gain energy to show up more effectively for yourself and for others. Personal growth and blooming. Much like a plant that needs the right soil, light, and the right balancing of water to live, you too need consistent, self nurturing care to live a complete life and not just a surviving life. You can start by having good thoughts, patience, self awareness, and belief. Those things will allow you to blossom into a more vibrant, powerful, and authentic self. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and will not fear when the heat comes, but its leaf will be green, and will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. Jeremiah 17, verses 8. If you want to make a difference to everyone, then you need to water yourself first. Yes, you're going to seek out and practice things that will make you better. But you also have to seek out and release things that are also causing you to be corrupted and not being a good person. Once you water yourself first, you are now ready and prepared to be a source for others, and you are not afraid to help those that are in need for help because you are now like a tree planted by the water, all because you take the time to rest, release, and recharge. The mindset shift. So, why is it so hard for you to choose yourself? Is it because of guilt? Or is it that small, quiet voice that said, if you focus on yourself, you're letting someone else down? Well, if you don't get anything else, get this. Taking care of yourself is your first responsibility. God said in His holy words that your body is a temple of the Lord. When all is said and done, no one can take care of your temple but you. Prioritizing self care helps build a strong foundation that will help you navigate life challenges, stress, and setback with greater emotional stability and confidence. Improve clarity and your perspective. Taking a small daily pause to reflect on how your day is going is a mindfulness act that will help you see if you need to adjust anything throughout your day. Pause to reflect on emotional hydration, which will reduce anxiety. And reducing anxiety will make life more meaningful. You deserve care as well, not after everything is done, but as part of how you live. Instead of asking, how can you give today? Start asking, what do you need today? And my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. Whatever you are in need of today, God will help you find the right resource that will help you to meet your needs. What watering yourself actually looks like. Watering yourself is not just about bubble bath and spa day. Sometimes it looks like discipline. It looks like saying no even when it is uncomfortable. It looks like setting boundaries without writing a long explanation. It can also look like resting without feeling guilty or like you have to earn it first. It looks like choosing things that bring you joy, not just things that make you productive. It looks like investing in your growth mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Watering yourself is not a one time and done with, it is maintenance. In order to do your best, you must be willing to grow through discomfort and stay connected even when you don't feel like it. Therefore, you have to keep watering yourself first so that you can show up in the best way possible for yourself and for others. Freedom from external standards. What does freedom from external standards look like? It involves stop watering down your personality to please others and start embracing your genuine self, the way God created you to be, leading you to a sense of freedom and happiness that isn't dependent on others' approval. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. When you know the truth about watering yourself and filling up your cup first, you will be more willing to help those in need. You will have the sense of freedom and enthusiasm because now you can give to others from a more nourished and much fuller place, making your support more sustainable and less prone to burn out. The hard truth. Now, here is the part most people are not prepared for. When you start watering yourself first, not everyone will like it. Some people are so used to the version of you that always says yes, that always shows up, never set boundaries and limits. And when that changes, it can feel uncomfortable for them. Don't let their uncomfortableness keep you from watering yourself. Keep watering yourself by taking care of your mental health through words of affirmation and journaling. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are noble, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. Philippians 4 verses 8. By taking this step, you will be rooting up toxic thoughts, Setting healthy boundaries and forgiving yourself is a good practice for your emotional health. Physical practice, including prioritizing sleep, nutrition, hydration, and exercise. Social practice, surround yourself with supportive people who encourage growth rather than draining you. If your growth makes others uncomfortable, it is not your responsibility to shrink. You are not here to stay small so that others can stay comfortable. Technically, some relationships may shift and some dynamics may change, but that doesn't mean that you are doing something wrong. You have to water yourself first, regardless of what others might think. The transformation. When you start watering yourself first, something powerful happens. You have more energy, your physical and emotional energy increase, you make clearer decisions, you stop second guessing your word. Your relationships become healthier because they are no longer built on overgiving and silent resentment. Most importantly, you feel at peace, not the kind of peace because everything is perfect, but a kind that comes from being aligned with yourself. Because when you water yourself first, you stop surviving and you start living. Practical steps. Start including these steps in your daily routine. You can start small by looking at the areas in your life where you are overgiving and set boundaries. It doesn't have to be dramatic all at once. Schedule time for yourself and treat it like it matters because it does. Every day, ask yourself this question: what do you need today? Not what everyone else need, not what they expected from you, but what you need. Remember, you are allowed to choose yourself and you are allowed to take up space in your own life. You are allowed to rest, to grow, to evolve, and you don't need anyone's permission to do so. The happiest, healthiest, and most fulfilled version of you begins the moment you decide to water yourself first. On that note, drink your water, mind your business, and give God the praise.